What's up guys, it's Marissa, and today I'll be talking with you guys about macronutrients. And this video is going to be kind of lengthy and it has a lot of math involved, so if you don't like lengthy videos or don't like math and don't really care about macronutrients, this video is not for you. Macronutrients are things such as fats, proteins, and carbs that your body needs on a day-to-day basis to function properly. I go over macronutrients and all the information you need regarding those things in my nutrition guide on my website. I'll link that down below. As I mentioned earlier, calculating your macros does involve a lot of math, and if you're anything like me, I hate math just as much as the next person, so just bear with me here. Your calorie intake will vary than somebody else's because everybody's body is different and needs different nutrition requirements, and everyone's body functions differently, so you might not need the same calorie intake as somebody else. There are plenty of macronutrient calculators online that you can use, but they'll vary from each one that you use because some are more accurate than others. The first thing you need to do is figure out your BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate, and this is just the way your body burns naturally by itself. So this will vary depending on your age, your height, your weight, and your current health status. To calculate this for a female, what you're going to do is you're going to take 4.7 times your height in inches, and then you're going to add that to 4.35 times your weight in pounds, and you're going to subtract 4.7 times your age in years. And then what you're going to do, once you get that number, you're going to add 655 to that, and that is your total BMR for a female. And for males it's different, so what you're going to do for if you're a male, you're going to take, I wrote this down, so 12.7 times your height in inches plus 6.23 times your weight in pounds minus 6.8 your age in years, and then you're going to add 66 to that number, which gives you your total BMR. Along with your BMR, you're going to want to take into consideration your total daily energy expenditure, which is how active you are throughout the day, and this could be by working out, riding your bike, walking, whatever kind of activity you do throughout the day. This would be your total daily energy expenditure. There are many different levels of activeness, such as little to no exercise, being moderately active, or being a professional athlete. So these factors play a role in how much you need to be intaking, how many calories you need to be eating on a day-to-day basis. So if you're sedentary or don't exercise a lot, you're going to multiply your BMR by 1.2. If you're lightly active, like exercising 1 to 3 days per week really lightly, you're going to multiply your BMR by 1.375. If you're moderately active and do some sports, maybe like 3 to 5 days a week, you're going to multiply your BMR by 1.55. If you're very active and engage in strenuous activity or play a sport 6 to 7 times per week, you're going to multiply your BMR by 1.725. If you're extra active and do hardcore sports or do 2-a-days all the time, you're going to multiply your BMR by 1.9. Your BMR and total daily energy expenditure combined is the number of calories you need to intake in order to maintain your current weight. So if you want to lose weight, you're gonna need to eat less calories and be in a caloric deficit. So if you are planning on being in a caloric deficit, I really recommend that you do it in a very cautious way, because it can lead to a lot of health problems if you do it the wrong way. And I don't recommend eating less than being in a deficit of more than 500 calories, because that could lead to even more health problems. So just be careful when you are trying to be in a caloric deficit and trying to lose weight. So let's say the roles are switched and you want to gain weight as a female or male. What you're going to need to do is going to be, you need to be in a caloric surplus, which means taking in more calories than you burn off. This does not mean binge eat on junk food and Oreos and ice cream. It just means that you need to nourish yourself properly, but with larger food portions. So after determining your BMR and total daily energy expenditure, let's say you want to be in a caloric deficit. What you need to do is figure out the macros that'll be most beneficial for you personally. What I do is I do a high carb, low fat vegan diet. So instead of the 80-10-10 regimen, I do 75% carbs, 15% protein, and 10% fats, so equal 100%. But it'll range depending on what you personally want for your weight loss and whatever works best for you. Everybody's bodies are different, so it can take a lot of trial and error to figure out what macros work specifically for you and your level of activity. If your body does respond negatively to your macros that you are intaking, try switching things around. So let's say if you feel tired or sluggish, up your carb intake and lower your fat intake. And if you're feeling weak or like not as strong as you normally are. Try upping your protein intake. It just all depends on you and how you're feeling with your diet. Alright, so now we're going to get into the math portion of this. You might want to take out a calculator or a pen and paper or whatever you want to write down some equations on. First, what you're going to want to do is determine if all the macros you've came up for yourself equal 100%. Mine was 75% carbs, 15% protein, 10% fat. That equals 100%. So just make sure whatever macros you chose, they equal up to 100%. So 1 gram of carbs is equal to 4 calories, 1 gram of protein is equal to 4 calories, and 1 gram of fat is equal to 9 calories. So for me, according to my calculator, it says that I should eat 1,746 calories a day, so I'm just gonna round that up to 1,800 calories a day. So for me personally, I need 75% of my calories to come from carbs, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna multiply 0.75 times 1,800 calories a day, and I'm going to get 1,350 calories, and then I'm going to divide that by 4 because carbs is 4 calories per gram, and I'm going to need to have about 337.5 grams of carbs per day. So that's that. Alright, we're on to protein now. So if I'm going to need 15% of my calories to come from protein, I'm going to take 0.15 times 1,800 calories a day. I'm going to get 270, and then I'm going to take 270 divided by 4, and I'm going to get 67.5. So I'm going to need 67.5 grams of protein a day. Alright, so now we're on to fats. So if I need 10% of my calories to come from fats, I'm going to do 0.10 times 1,800 calories a day. I'm going to get 180, so 180 divided by 9 because 1 gram of fat is 9 calories, so I'm going to get 20 grams. So I'm going to need 20 grams of fats a day. So take all the grams you get from your calculations, and that should be the amount from each macro that you intake on a daily basis. So how do you know if you're eating enough? There are a lot of macronutrient calculators out there. I personally use MyFitnessPal, but I know there's like Cronometer and Lose It and so many more in the App Store that you can use. But I really like MyFitnessPal because it's really user friendly and it gives me a nice breakdown of my macronutrient percentages. It's important to balance your calorie intake coming from each macro throughout your meals. So I typically eat 5 meals a day, breakfast and then snack 1, lunch, snack 2, and then dinner. So just to keep me satisfied throughout the day, I just portion my meals out. So since I'm eating 5 meals a day, I would divide my total number of grams of carbs, fats, and proteins by 5, and that is the base number of macronutrients I would need from each one for each meal. And this may vary because generally my snacks are a lot lower in calories than my meals, so it just depends on what you want. These calculations just help you stay on track and help keep you accountable for your macronutrient intake. If you don't know if a meal will satisfy your macronutrients, just input them into MyFitnessPal before you eat it and see if it matches up right. If you need to adjust your macros for a meal, just add extra carbs or extra protein to your meal, whatever you need, just to compensate for the macronutrients that you lack. So I used to count calories like crazy. I would just count it to restrict my calories, not to see how much I was actually eating. So I would just be infatuated with just losing weight really, really quick, and I was doing it really unhealthy. So if you are to count your macros, just do it in a very healthy way and just stay on track. Ultimately for me, I was depriving myself of nutrients I needed for my body to function properly, and I wasn't getting the most out of my workouts. I was feeling really crappy about myself, sluggish, I had no energy. So just make sure you're eating enough and make sure that you're doing it the proper way and not restricting your calories like a lot. Don't restrict your calories a lot. Like I said, I keep it to a caloric deficit of a bare minimum 500 calories. I understand that counting calories can get really out of hand for some people and it can like promote eating disorders, and that is not something I want to promote. I'm just simply stating how to count your macros. If you are into fitness and you really want to stay accountable, this is one way to do it. Use counting your macros as a tool to refer to for your weight loss or weight gain, or just to stay on track and just refer to for your goals. I eat the way I want to, what makes me feel good about myself, high carb, low fat, vegan, but it may be different for you, it may be different for the next person, so just do what makes you feel good about your body and what gives you energy and what makes you perform at your best. If you are counting your macros the right way, you shouldn't have an issue with losing weight, but like I said there's like really no quick fix to losing weight. It just comes with time, consistency, and effort, and dedication. all those. Fitness is a lifestyle. You get out what you put into it. This includes workouts in the gym, and this includes the food you put into your body. So if you did like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel because I will be making a lot more videos in the future. Thanks for watching.